3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Show Me Trucks. In this video, we get to explore. We're in my truck, empty trailer back there. So, hopefully going to pick up a truck, going to check it out, see what it looks like. You know, this is the excitement of going. Luckily, this one isn't near as far as the other ones I've been looking at lately. It's been a crazy week. Like all these projects are, you change your mind a bunch. So, I went early in the week and failed trying to pick up a, 4400? Truck. So those are like the big grain trucks. I was going to use the front clip on the carryall and make the truck a 4x4 and widen the fenders and do a lot of work to the rear fender for sure, and use it to haul my trailer and use that frame and modify that and everything. But the truck was horrible. It was way worse than I thought. It wasn't really worth the money. Had some restraint and didn't buy it, which was awesome. And then changed directions, came home. I was like, whatever, I'll deal with it later. A lot of the reason I need the Suburban to have a new frame is because one of my wheels from the 36 is on the Suburban, so I can roll it around. So I need to take that off, obviously, because I'm trying to get the truck ready to sell at Carlisle, and I need that spare tire up on here. On the internet again, and of course a frame popped up. Almost in the same area as the first one, a little bit farther. I wish I would have known about it because I would have just kept driving and picked it up that nice day. It's a short bed, 3100. The trucks and the Suburbans use the same frame. The Suburbans have some extra mounts on them, which I learned about today because I went and checked out where they were on the Suburban frame. And they actually look nice enough. I think I can reuse them. The rest of the frame is horrible. I'll try to put some clips in here. And once I pull the body off, you guys will see a lot more. Obviously, the body's horrible, so the frame's just as bad. I'm gonna pull a bunch of stuff off it tonight. They had torched some parts off it. They torched the running boards off and stuff like that. So I'll have to get some new brackets and things. But it's a way better start. The metal is way thicker than I thought because I kept looking at the Suburban frame. I'm like, man, this thing is made of tin can aluminum because it's so thin. But this frame looks pretty thick. It looks like 3/16 like I expected. 100 times better than I would have ever imagined. When you do Marketplace and you see everyone's pictures, you know, it's like everyone's first time using the camera. The guy was explaining why he was having issues taking pictures, so it makes sense. But his pictures were blurry, like super shaky. I couldn't even tell. I wasn't sure if the frame was broken half. And he sold the whole chassis for $100, which is insane. So it was worth the drive. This really changes the direction of the truck. I don't plan on doing the four-wheel drive anymore. I really haven't found a straight axle that is the right width that would match up. It's so narrow, I don't think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna do stock height, stock leaf springs, and just run some kind of like dirt tires like these used to have in the rear. But I think I'm gonna run those front and back. I've seen another truck like that. I think it looks nice. And I don't really wanna lower the Suburban. I want it tall enough. I don't have to worry about bumps or anything. It'd be nice to work on. I kind of just want a stock height, maybe a newer engine, and not just for power. Yes, it'll help with fuel economy. You know, a little 6-cylinder is working pretty hard to move that Suburban around with a bunch of people in it. Just so it's reliable, put a ton of miles on it. I want to drive this thing all the time. So even if the suspension isn't unbelievably amazing, it's an old truck. I expect it to drive like an old truck. It'd just be nice if it had the power and some better gas mileage, and I don't have to rebuild the engine every 100,000 miles, you know. Maybe a 5.3 with a 4L60E like I have in the 36. this is how I plan on running it. I plan on running the leaf springs. All look amazing. I want to modify the shock towers. That's one thing I think is crazy on these. The shocks are sitting at a crazy angle, and they don't have much travel. So I think I'm gonna modify make my own shock towers like I did on the 36. But in my truck, because these are basically just big gutters for rust, mine's all rusted out on the other side. But you can see all the frame rails are nice and thick, not pitted down. There's only a little bit of pitting up on those rear arches, which obviously on Suburban it's got a lot because the plywood just sits right on there. But they had hacked off these. Luckily I have the bumper brackets in the front. They'd also started to remove the leaf springs. Luckily you can just put those back in, put bolts in there just like I did on 36. They'd hacked that cross member, but I didn't plan on using it anyway. And if you check out these, this is your pedal, brake, and clutch setup. And I don't plan on using that either. I might try to hide the booster and master under there, but with a V8 that'll be pretty hard. What's crazy too is this battery bracket is all nice. For one, it's there, and two, it's not all rusted out, which is insane. I've never seen that. Even in the 67s, you know, everything's all rusted out. So all this stuff looks nice and solid. Leaf springs look nice. I'll show you the leaf springs on the Suburban. They're insane, and I don't even know what's happening. They're like separating real crazy. But obviously they hacked all the running board supports off. I don't even know what this bracket is, but it's not on the Suburban, so it's coming off. It's just bolted on, so I don't know what they did with it. But you got all your emergency brake cable set up. It's a cool little setup, but I might leave that on there. Not 100% yet, but I really don't like when people torch off rivets, because then you had to go back in there and clean it, and I might even have to weld those freaking holes up and then re-drill them, which would be awesome. But everything else is real nice. It does have this weird little notch where obviously a support was rubbing on it, so I'll weld that solid, grind it smooth. But even this little bit of pitting that I'm talking about is not bad at all. Everything looks straight, clean. Obviously, just like on the 36, I'll redo all the pins, redo all my shackles, but all the leaves look nice. And I'm probably gonna do obviously with the LS, I'm gonna get rid of this drive line and run a better axle. I just got to figure out one that will work on this with maybe rear disc, because I'm gonna do a disc conversion in the front. So maybe stock height and maybe just newer engine. Nothing too crazy. But now I'm gonna remove some stuff off here. Oh, another thing I want to show you is, you'll see this in some of the older trucks where they weld on stuff onto this steering shaft. I don't know if it broke, I don't know if it bent, and they try to reinforce it, but that looks like some galvanized pipe, probably not even very thick. So interesting, but don't worry, won't be using that ever. Kind of wish they didn't hack this off too, because it'd be nice if that was in the right spot. And I might even have the one on the Suburban, but just so I could resell it. Someone that's doing a real original truck might want it. So clean, you know. Some paint flaking. There's still some paint on there, which is nuts, but I couldn't believe how clean it was for $100. That's a win all day long, because at least now I have some wheels that have air that can roll the Suburban around. But another one I thought was weird is these little shock towers were broke off. So usually it comes over the little platform and then runs down here to these shock mounts. But like I said, I'll redesign all that anyway, because I want nice new, probably single or double adjustable shocks on there, because you know the shocks and redoing your leaves and all your bushings will really make a big difference. So. cleaned everything off the frame. I'm going to clean off for now. I'll show you the good and the bad. Took the battery tray off. I still plan on using it, but it's a little too small for a regular battery. So I'm going to extend it, try to make it look original. My big surprise, everything else has been pretty good. Everything's been fine. Got that cross member out. Got all the extra little tabs off that I didn't need. The big surprise is I kind of thought those holes lined up, but they're not even close. I tried jacking that up, getting it in place to run the bolts in, and these are not the right hangers for this frame. So luckily I have my other frame under the Suburban, so hopefully they're the same setup and they match up. But as you can tell, the bracket's too wide for these holes, and even when it's all the way up, it's way short. So obviously I thought someone started to take them off for doing an independent suspension or something, because that's what the guy ended up doing, an S10 swap. But that's what I thought was going on, because the front hangers are the right ones. They still got the rivets in, but they do have these dumb little skinny tabs on. And I was kind of wondering what these were about, but obviously they threw them on, realized it wasn't going to work. So hopefully I can still use the leaves. Hopefully they're still the same length. They seem to be. Hopefully it's just the hangers I need to grab off the other frame with a bunch of other stuff. So I don't think the other frame is going to be savable. I think I'm just going to remove some stuff, chop it up, scrap that other frame because it's so bad. Another bad one that was kind of a bummer was I told you I hate when people hack up these holes using the torch, because they kind of mangle those holes. So this side's not bad, but they did start on another rivet on accident. You can tell because they started and then stopped. And then I'll have to get in here and sand all that down, but it kind of puts these little pits in there. Like I said, it's not the end of the world, but this side was pretty bad. I'll weld those up and then re-drill the holes, but at least I know where the placement is. So I have to drill this rivet out, knock it out, and just run a bolt in there instead of a rivet, because I don't have the setup to do a rivet. The only other tabs that are on here that I might knock off later are these. Sorry, I'm in the way. These are your bump stop tabs, which are a little weird because they're riveted on, so you can't put new bump stops on. Obviously they weren't thinking about that back then, but I might later, whenever I go to paint the frame, when it's flipped upside down, I might cut those off. I cut that one cross member off that was bent in the back, you know, bumper brackets. So I will be putting some more braces in here and brackets and trying to not make it look overkill or anything, but I do want probably 2 braces, because I'll run shocks in front and behind. I kind of like these, so I might even steal these off the other Suburban and try to run this another support like this, maybe farther back in the frame. And then I don't know exactly what I'm going to do, but I would love a support from the back of the leaf springs over. I got to see where everything lands, but obviously that takes a lot of pressure, because that's where the leaf spring is, and you remove it whenever you get rid of the 6-cylinder. So we'll see. I would love to be able to keep this trans cross member, even if I have to move it around and then widen it or something like that. I would love to retain that one because it looks really beefy, strong, and it looks cool. So the only other stuff that was a little confusing is these rivets on the side of this mount seem to do nothing or go to nothing. I have no idea what those are about. The other tabs I'll probably end up taking off later are these emergency brake tabs, and I like to reuse them, but I would like them on the inside of the frame. So I might knock those rivets and then be able to move them around later and mount those up, because I think they look cool, but they're kind of, I don't want them on the outside because with my tire, I'm not gonna have much space, and I don't really want to run that pivot setup. That freaking bar was unbelievably heavy. And then this is all the stuff I took off in the back. Tons of brackets and dumb little tabs. And the brake setup I am going to keep, because I probably do need to mount that back up when I get my new setup, so I know where the pivot point is. But that's what I'm working on. And then I did figure out that these are your rear cab mount braces that I didn't know about. Obviously I don't need them. They're not on my Suburban, so I'm not gonna use them. There's the leaf springs on the new frame. here's how they're supposed to look. So yeah, definitely switch those over. I was wondering because those are way taller. So at least I can take those mounts. I'll use all these. They seem solid enough. The new ones are so freaking expensive, and I might just reinforce these a little bit. They are a little crusty, but I do not want to buy new ones. They're expensive. Unless I find some used ones at Carlisle or Hershey or something. And then bumper brackets look usable. Hopefully not been up too crazy. You know, I won't find out until a long time from now. Let's wrap this video up. Frame, Suburban. Just waiting for the day. I need to come out here and cut all the bolts holding it down loose, empty it out as much as I can to get the weight down, and then see if I can get some guys to help me pick it up and go right back onto that chassis. So thanks for watching. I know I said I wasn't going to work on the Suburban until 36 is done, but this came along, so little side project for the weekend. Thanks for watching. Later.